Hey guys, and welcome back. So yesterday's video went pretty well. So today I thought I'd do another one because they're very easy to make. I just play Yu-Gi-Oh and talk about Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's fucking easy. So yesterday I was talking about the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, like my view on the anime. So I thought today I would actually talk about the game, the Yu-Gi-Oh games, but not necessarily the bollocks, never mind, let it go first. But not necessarily the actual game itself. I'm on about the video games that came out. I want to talk about the games that came out. By the way, before I do anything, the votes came in. Jaden deck won. Everyone wanted a Jaden deck, so I just quickly made a Jaden deck. But if you did vote for other stuff, because there's other stuff like Chaz deck, Infinity deck, stuff like that, I have made a list. So I made a Jaden deck, but I'm not going to be using a Jaden deck in the next video. So keep voting for the decks you want to see. I think Jaden won by 3 votes. Jaden E-Hero, I counted that as Jaden deck, won by 3 votes, and Jaden won by 3, obviously. Then there was Infinity and Chaz decks by 2. Then I had a Cloudian deck voted on, and a Light Swarm, and I think a Moki Moki deck as well, believe it or not. So yeah, keep voting if you want to see me use a particular deck. Keep messaging in the comments. Anyway, I want to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh as a game. As naturally, with it being a trading card game, it was only a matter of time until eventually it came to a video game console, because, like, well, you know, it's a game, you know, games do that. However, I actually only found out today that there was genuinely a Yu-Gi-Oh game on the Game Boy, like the original Game Boy. But it wasn't like, it only came out in Japan, and there's a sequel that was basically the same game, but it was on the Game Boy Color. No, I don't want to do that. And basically, it was a case of it wasn't like this. It wasn't a Yu-Gi-Oh game. It was basically Yu-Gi-Oh monsters, but really weak. And they just battled as monsters. I don't really know. Check it out on YouTube. Look for it, but it's really sort of bizarre to see that. And yeah, the first kind of sign that we ever got of, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh games, of a proper first Yu-Gi-Oh game we got in the UK was, well, I think the first UK we got in America as well was on the PlayStation 1, Forbidden Memories, which it was alright. It wasn't a proper Yu-Gi-Oh game. It was kind of like the other game. It wasn't like the Yu-Gi-Oh game. It wasn't. It used obviously no different monsters and stuff, and it had magic cards. We didn't really utilize trap cards properly, not as well as it could have done. And for example, you could fuse, like, cards had star signs, so you could pick a guardian star. That's what it was. So like, you could also fuse cards straight in your hand without poly. So it's like, oh, you could fuse these 2 crappy cards to make a slightly better card, stuff like that. Quite an interesting concept, actually. Quite interesting at the time. But I remember when I first got it, thinking it would be like playing Yu-Gi-Oh. So at the same time, quite disappointed when it turned out to not be that. But all in all, it was still quite, you know, it was a different game. It was quite enjoyable. But it wasn't a proper, you know, playing Yu-Gi-Oh like we're playing it now. The first, I think, the first sign of a Yu-Gi-Oh game that came out that was this game that you were playing. Now, you play the actual card game as you would. It was on, I think it was called Eternal Soul, Yu-Gi of the Eternal Soul or something, on Game Boy Advance. And I remember getting that, thinking, holy shit, you actually get to play as, you know, as your character, and you get to play the proper game and a proper story. The closest we'd come before that, I think, was Sacred Cards, which was on the Game Boy Advance, I think it was as well. Excuse me. And yeah, it was like, what can I do here? Oh yeah, I can do that. It was kind of a case of the Sacred Cards was different as well. It wasn't a full-on card game, but you had that was the first experience where you had your own character, and you could actually you could actually fucking play the game essentially as you wanted it. Like you know, your character was involved in the story, and you know, you entered duel monsters and stuff. But that worked on a system where like you had to earn points, and if you had like 80 points, you couldn't use any card that value was above 80 points. And your deck, you had like deck points that were like, so if you had like a deck point of 75, like of like 1,000, you couldn't go over that number. But so yeah, it gave us, there was quite a lot of in the way of options, I guess. But again, we wouldn't get a proper, I would say, Yu-Gi-Oh game until this one came out on the advance. Again, it was a good game. I thought it was all right. And then games start more. I mean, obviously there's other Yu-Gi-Oh games that came out with different varieties. You got like Duelist of the Roses, which was on the PlayStation 2, and you had stuff like also the Capture Monster games, just kind of all going off like that, really. And it was, again, fairly interesting stuff, but at the same time, it wasn't the proper Yu-Gi-Oh game. Obviously, as technology got better, we got better Yu-Gi-Oh games, we got the Tag Force games, we got the DS games is when I think the Yu-Gi-Oh game genre, as it were, really came into its stride. Because to me, that's when it became really good, the game, because it's a case of you know, Nightmare Troubadour was the start of it all. Nightmare Troubadour was awesome. It would you'd have a display like you got here, like the bottom would be as it was, but the top would be, I think I talked about this in the last video, and the top would be, you'd see your monsters appear, and you'd see your monsters on the field like you were actually playing Yu-Gi-Oh, like a duel monsters like in the anime. And that I always really liked that about Nightmare Troubadour. I was like, oh wow, this is the format I've finally been waiting for. To me, Nightmare Troubadour was like the Yu-Gi-Oh game I'd really been waiting for all this time. Fuck. Oh shit, I hate Wall of Thorns. But no. So I was to be honest, I was really buzzed about, you know, when it came out, and then obviously sequels came out, World Championship games came out, and all in all, they were all really good. And they started getting rid of a few features, and I kind of didn't like that. And then we had stuff like now we've got on Xbox 360 we had the Decade Duels come out, which essentially was just the game. It was just like you didn't have a story, which kind of pissed me off. Didn't necessarily have a story, and that kind of annoyed me, because it's like the older games, they kind of had to have a story, and you followed the narrative, and you played through it, and the visuals weren't necessarily great, but you could play Yu-Gi-Oh, and it was fun. And then it's just like with these new games, you know, the next gen stuff, Decade Duels, and I was there thinking, oh wow, next gen stuff, you know, console gaming, you know, this should be pretty interesting. And they weren't. They kind of went backwards. It was just like, oh no, it's just a game. You've got some characters. You just do. Decade Duels was just tournament style play. You made a deck, you dueled in a tournament, and that was it. And you just kept doing that, or you could go online and play with your friends. Legacy of the Duelist, which I've got on PlayStation 4, they did it a bit better in my opinion, because they basically turned around and said, right, well, here's what we're going to do. We're not necessarily going to give you a full-on story. They basically gave us all the Yu-Gi-Oh stories up to Arc V, but they didn't really give us an Arc V story, because Arc V hasn't really been finished yet. But they gave us most of, and you play through all. The way Legacy of the Duelist works is you play up to essentially all the main sort of big duels in the series. And one thing I liked about that is the decks. The decks were actually, so like, for example, in Battle City, when you do the Battle City duel with Kaiba versus Yugi, Yugi's big play in that duel was summoning Dark Paladin and using Red Eyes. So in that duel, Yugi's deck was pretty focused on doing that move and summoning Dark Paladin and using Red Eyes and stuff. So all the decks were revolved around making particular big moves that were made in the show. So you could basically reenact your favourite moves from the show, which I thought was a really good feature to have. I thought that's really interesting that they've done that. I think that's quite clever. Miracle Fusion. What can I get with Miracle Fusion? Oh, yeah, I can get fucking shiny, can't I? Sweet. Get rid of that bowfly. Get rid of that. And I'll get rid of that. But yeah, they're both. What was I talking about? Yeah, you can essentially replay those legendary moves from the show if you played your cards right. So that's what I thought that was a really good element of the game. But you were essentially just reenacting it. It was like a robot. It's like, oh, you have this is the duel. I will tell you the story about the duel, and then you will reenact the duel. I'm just like, no, okay, but it's better than it's a step in the right direction, I suppose. As you can probably tell, this is my personal favourite game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Over the Nexus. This is my personal favourite because it gives you the blend of storytelling. Your character, you get to be a part of the 5D stories with your own deck, and you get it has the tournament play stuff in as well. But it's also got the storyline, so you want to play story mode and have a story, have your character play in a story. It's the good blend of that because the World Championship game that came after this didn't have a story, didn't have anything. It was just the World Championship game. It was just Zexal, and it was just a World Championship game. You just didn't have a story, as far as I can tell. Not like this anyway. And that was always kind of disappointing to me. And now we've got three new. I think there's 3 new Yu-Gi-Oh games coming out in the coming years. I know there's a mobile game coming out on Android where it's essentially Yu-Gi-Oh, but you only have three monster slots and 3 spell and trap slots. I think it's basically like that Yu-Gi-Oh BAM that was on Facebook a while ago, and that's that. I think the next one's going to be on 3DS, which is going to be based on Arc V or Zexal, which I'm kind of looking forward to. I think I had a list actually. Let me go check out my list. So yeah, there's a massive list of these games. Refresh of Destruction, Stairway to Destined Duel. That was a fucking awesome game. Oh, the PC games. I love the PC games. That was to me was a great, like, you got to see the cards in really high quality, and you had like the voice act. You had Yugioh Kaiba playing all that. Yeah, we've got Legacy of a Duelist. It doesn't even say. It just says untitled Yu-Gi-Oh game for the 3DS, but apparently it's coming out this year. So I'm looking forward to that. And it kind of got me thinking. I know there's another game coming out as well. I don't know for the life of me what it's on. And it kind of got me thinking. So what my ideal Yu-Gi-Oh game would be. Because I'm thinking I've always wanted, like, to me, an ideal Yu-Gi-Oh game would be, and I've always kind of been thinking about it. And this is what I'll talk about today. It's what would be my perfect Yu-Gi-Oh game that I personally. And I'm going to tell you what it would be and basically how I think we could essentially do it. So, this is what I think. I want a Yu-Gi-Oh game. The full one's playing. Okay, I'll take it again. I think there should be a Yu-Gi-Oh game that's essentially a cross between, obviously, Yu-Gi-Oh! And, now, hear me out when I finish what I'm saying, okay? There's only an element of this game I'm going to be referring to. Of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Grand Theft Auto. Now stop right there. The element of Grand Theft Auto I'm referring to is the free roaming sandbox aspect of it, where basically you have your character, it can be third person perspective or first person if you want, and you have this huge sandbox. You can essentially have Battle City, the game, where your character is in Battle City, and you walk around, the city. You obviously don't nick in cars and stuff like that. I just meant in a sandbox, you walk around, you challenge people, and then when you have a duel, the monsters appear on your duel list. It can either go first person, and then when you summon a monster, you get an animation, the monster, and then the monster appears. It's kind of a Nightmare Troubadour, but like a third person Nightmare Troubadour, where the monsters stay on the field, you see all your monsters on the field, and you basically play Yu-Gi-Oh! You play through a story with your own character, like you create your own character. And it also offers online potential as well. Like Grand Theft Auto Online, you can walk around a big server, meeting people, having, and then rather than obviously killing people and stealing cars, you challenge people to duels. So you could be walking along in the server, and you could see someone dueling, and you could be like, oh, I'm going to fucking watch that duel. You just stand by and you can watch it happen. that was like one of my older ideas, and I thought, yeah, that would be pretty cool, like a kind of sandboxy Yu-Gi-Oh game that worked like that. And then as technology gotten better, oh sorry, I'm rocking the table there. And then as technology's gotten better, I'm starting to think we could possibly, it's possible to take Yu-Gi-Oh into a play. I mean, I know all of us Yu-Gi-Oh fans right now, we want dual discs to be real. We want to have a dual disc physically, bless you. Dual disc, physical, in person, where we have a duel, and we have a duel there and then. So we can just challenge someone and say, I'm challenged to a duel. And we'd love that. I know I would. I'd love to have a world where, you know, you could have huge holograms summoned. And obviously with limited technology we have at the time, you're just like, well, it can't really happen, can it? But actually, technology's gotten a lot better in these years. And it was a cross between watching Zexal and seeing the Google Glass technology that I thought, hey, maybe this technology isn't so far ahead, so far out of our reach that we might think. Let's think about it. I mean, if any of you have seen the Google Glass technology, where people, it's like essentially like a glasses that you wear, and you can it transmits basically holograms that you can see through the glasses, but no one else can. To me, this seems like a perfect opportunity to play some fucking Yu-Gi-Oh on it, you know? I mean, we have the technology where you can use the fucking hand swipes and stuff, and the great thing is, and that's essentially what I've been thinking, it's like, why don't we utilize that technology and have Yu-Gi-Oh using Google Glass? So you're walking around, oh, I'm getting you shit hand. Why don't we make a fucking, you know, why don't they make a Yu-Gi-Oh game for the Google Glass like that, where you could be walking along, you see someone else, you know, you could have like, it wouldn't use your real cards. Now that's the thing I'd have to point out straight away. It wouldn't use your cards. Why is that card still around? I thought I defeated that. It says once per turn. This card can be destroyed by battle, but I attacked it twice. Try again then. Oh wait, unless that thing. Oh fuck. Oh wait, I think I've just realised what that card does. That fucking spell card. Anyway, yeah, you wouldn't use your real cards. I know we'd all like to do that, but we wouldn't. You wouldn't use your real cards. You could probably use your real cards to sort of scan into the system, so you could log it. Because you still have to buy the cards. You go, right, scan that. I have that. It's logged. You could have like an attachment that goes on your wrist or something that kind of goes, right, that's my deck in there. It's logged in. That's my deck, and it'll be like, fine, fair enough. And then obviously if you see someone else with this attachment thing on them, you go, oh, you play Yu-Gi-Oh! Do you want a duel? So you're like, right. So obviously you'd link up, you have a duel, and then obviously through your Google Glass, as you're dueling, the monsters transmit, and you can see the duel going on, you know? You can see that the monsters appear for you, but obviously you're not disturbing anyone else. They can't see shit. Because obviously in Zexal, those scouter things, they're like, oh, they make this whole virtual universe around them. They're like, oh, this is how we see it. No one else sees that. It's just how we see it. Like, so buildings collapse, and obviously when they take the scouters off, it's like, oh no, actually we don't collapse. But all in all, that's kind of essentially my, okay, fuck, I'm not going after that thing anymore. It's not working. What is going on? Why can't I defeat any of these cards? Anyway. There we go, right, destroy. Thank God for that, right, I'm just going to start getting rid of these fuckers. Right, as I was saying, and great thing about this technology is, if you had these Google Glasses, and you saw people dueling, it's like, oh, those guys are dueling, I can tell they're dueling. You could essentially log in, you can go, right, spectate that duel, so you spectate, and you can see the monsters as it happens. And I just kind of think, why is that technology not... We've seen it. We've seen the technology. We've seen the Google Glass technology. It could be a thing, you know? And I just can't help but figure that one day, you know, the technology exists, we can do it. I mean, we can use motion. The way it would work in my mind is obviously you'd have your Google Glasses on, and then you'd play Yu-Gi-Oh! So it would appear like the bottom of the screen appears. It would like you would see your hand. So your hand would appear like before your eyes. Obviously, your opponent wouldn't see it. And then when you want it, you do certain actions. So you say, do this to draw a card. You place a card, you select it, and then you use particular hand movements and motions to, you know, to essentially play the cards in your hand and then you draw the cards. You know, it just seems like it's something that can be done. It feels like it's something that can actually be put into production. It can be done. I think Konami should be fucking talking to Google Glass and be saying, look, dickheads, we need to fucking make your mind up, woman. That's the thing about this game. I hate the AI. It takes fucking ages to make a decision. You're shit. You're gonna lose. Just fucking make your mind up. Look at this. Look at this. I've sped it up. I've sped it up. And she still hasn't made a decision yet. I'm going to be frozen, aren't I? She's just going to be like, I don't know what to do. Meh. I don't know what to do. I'm fucked. I'm going to have to put a fucking instant... Oh, there we go. Fucking hell. Took you all that time to think of... Oh my god, she's thinking again! You're such a retard, Nico! Took you 20 minutes to think of I will set a card? Come on. Speed it up. Now what are you thinking of doing? You thinking of ending your turn? Exactly. That's all. Oh, right. Anyway. Again, as I was saying, it is technology that we have, that we possess. We have it. We can do it. It's not impossible. But it just makes me think, oh wait, do I have an Earth fusion? I think I have the Earth one. I don't have Gaia. Shit, I didn't add Gaia. Never mind. Yeah, it is technology that we possess. It's not out of our reach. So why not do it? You know, and you know, I don't know why we don't do it. I think we should do it. I think we should make a petition or something. I mean, tell me what you think. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think, you know, if Google Glass did something like that, would you fucking get Google Glass and get the Yu-Gi-Oh game? I know I probably would. I'd be well up for that. You know, the opportunity to play Yu-Gi-Oh with people all, you know, anywhere. It could turn Yu-Gi-Oh. I think it could essentially make Yu-Gi-Oh as, you know, as big as it is already. It can make it like it is in this show. You never know. It's just that idea of fucking going off. Really, I just really think that could be where Yu-Gi-Oh's going in the future, utilizing that VR sort of Google Glass technology to make a Yu-Gi-Oh game. Again, there would be no story with that. Obviously, your life would be the story, I guess. And I'm not saying obviously, oh yeah, you come up against a criminal and he wants to duel you for your wallet. But it would be an interesting thing to have. It would be an interesting place to take the Yu-Gi-Oh game. A game that's in the anime has been portrayed like, oh, we use holograms. These are holograms, you know? It would be very interesting to see that actually done to the point where we, the Yu-Gi-Oh fans, could actually make Yu-Gi-Oh holograms appear, you know? And I'm going to go back to my... I'm going to go back to what I was saying before about the Yu-Gi-Oh sandbox game is essentially what it would be. You know, again, I think it would be... To me, I think it would be based on Battle City. Battle City, I think it would be saying. And essentially, you're in the Battle City tournament, so you'd be involved in the Battle City storyline, and you could meet Yugi, you could befriend him. It would be an altered version of the story, but I think it'd be awesome. I think it'd be really cool to see that. And that was another idea for another kind of game idea that I had, that I thought of a while ago that I thought would be really good as an actual game. As we all know, in 5Ds we had turbo duels, which is essentially riding around on motorcycles while dueling. But it wasn't just you didn't just play normal Yu-Gi-Oh, as we all know. Excuse me. It was a special rule. You had the speed spell card, which was essentially its own set of rules, and then you had the speed spell magic cards, speed spell card. So you could only play like a speed spell card if you had enough speed tokens, or if you met a certain criteria. And again, in this game, they do have turbo duels, and that's the tools I just explained of a turbo duels that they do in this game. And there is next gen. There is a console game that's based on 5Ds that uses turbo duels, which is I can't remember the name of it now. I'm gonna fucking cheat. I've still got the list here. I'm gonna just have a quick scan up. It was on the Wii. There, is it Master of Cards? No, it's not Master of Cards. Was it? Wasn't Master of Cards. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Let me just see if there's any other games on the Wii. Wheelie Breakers. That was it. Wheelie Breakers. Wheelie Breakers. The best way I can describe Wheelie Breakers was essentially Mario Kart in the 5Ds universe. You dueled, but you didn't really duel. It was more about the race, and you used Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Yu-Gi-Oh duels per se to enhance the race. So you could set certain traps. If someone tried attacking you to slow you down, your trap would activate. You know, you would have one monster at a time as well. You couldn't have multiple monsters. You would summon the one monster, and then if that monster was destroyed, you had to summon another monster. But all in all, let's speed her up a bit. But all in all, it was essentially a racing game. It wasn't really a turbo duel game, which was what I thought it was. When I saw it, I thought, oh wow, from the looks of it, you have a turbo duel where you're actually riding the motorcycle and trying to do it at the same time, which I thought was a cool concept. And I was a bit disappointed. I mean, I still enjoyed the game, but I was still a bit disappointed when I found out that actually you don't do that. You just write. It's just essentially Mario Kart with Yu-Gi-Oh. It's essentially that's what Wheelie Breakers is, and I was kind of disappointed by that. But at the same time, I still enjoyed the game. But yeah, it was a case. I think that was actually what made me get a Wii. I think the reason I wanted a Wii was because that game was coming out. I was like, I really want, and there was other stuff on it that I really wanted to get. But that was kind of the clincher for me. And then my dad eventually got one for me and my sister. Saying, "Yeah, this is for you to share. You can have this together." And I was like, "Yes." And then I went out and bought Wheelie Breakers. And I just remember really enjoying it, just being disappointed it wasn't what I expected it to be. And then obviously, Tag Force 4 came out. I didn't actually play Tag Force 4, but then obviously this game came out, which had turbo duels in it, which I enjoyed. And again, she's taking so fucking long to make a decision, which is going to be set a card again. I'm even holding the speed up button, so this is a sped up version. This is her speed thinking. Ah, fuck. But anyway, the idea I had was essentially you do turbo duels. It would be like one of those. It would be like a cross between essentially the dual terminal games that you would get and those, like racing games you get in arcades where you ride an actual bike. That's my idea essentially. It'd be an arcade game. You couldn't really have it in your house. It would have to be an arcade game. But again, if the Google Glass technology works, and if the dueling technology does work for the Google Glass and it does come out, then why couldn't it be applied to an actual Yu-Gi-Oh? That's taking a more extreme turn there. You're actually talking about extreme racing while dueling, which, to be honest, I think pretty much would be made illegal. They'd be like, no, you can't have Google Glass. I think it might even already be illegal to have Google Glass while you're driving your car because it's technically a distraction. But how cool would it be? You've got a court, like a fucking circle court, like in 5Ds. You've got your helmet on, but the visor's Google Glass, and you're doing a legitimate riding duel. But obviously, let's be more realistic. If something like that ever happened, it would be an arcade game where it would be a big bike where you're riding on the bike and you're essentially dueling at the same time. But you've got it seems difficult, but to be honest, I can play solitaire on a treadmill while running on the treadmill. So if I can do that, then you can fucking play, as far as I'm concerned, if I can do that, then you can play fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! While riding a motorbike in an arcade game anyway. Nico, I swear to God, finish your fucking move. Nico is painful. Painful to play. Even in the normal game, this is painful. Half the time in this game is spent waiting for her to make a fucking... There we go. Fucking hell. It's just like, I need more monsters. Come on. I don't need this. I need monsters to summon more monsters so I can destroy all her monsters. And I don't understand why I can't take the shit out of that fucking bitch. Anyway. At the moment, I'm going to have to keep chipping away with Spell Striker until I can fucking get rid of all the monsters. Yes, tag directly, of course. I'll see if I can get rid of that fucking... Because I think that fertilizer might have been stopping me from destroying those cards. But we'll just have to see, won't we? So yeah, what do you guys think of these ideas? Do you think Google Glass could benefit? Or at least the technology is not totally impossible? Do you think that a third person or first person sandbox Yu-Gi-Oh game where you walk around, challenge any opponent, and you have a duel, and the monsters appear in the game, they appear as they are, or do you do you like that idea? And what about my turbo duel idea, where you can have like an arcade, it's an arcade game, but you ride on the bike. In fact, I think they even had one in 5Ds. I think they did. Oh shit, that might be where I got the idea from. I think in 5Ds there is a game that you actually it's an arcade game, but you turbo duel on it. Oh fuck. Then yeah, then that's where I've got the idea from. Then from 5Ds, but I think it would be a cool idea. I genuinely do. Do you guys agree? Do you guys agree? I wonder. I think it'd be cool personally. Do they have any other ideas about Yu-Gi-Oh? I mean, I'm going to just talk about all the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff now. In general, oh fucking hell, I'm sick of Notoria beans. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of these fucking beans. Oh. So I'm going to have to attack them twice each. Unless I can get fucking plasma out or something like that. Something to just take a big shit on it. Because she's not going to beat my fucking... Here we go. And now she's thinking again. I'm speeding up. I'm speeding it up. Fucking Nico. Do you see what I'm going for? Do you see what I'm putting up with now? See all this? This is annoying. I've taught people how to duel and how to duel with them, and it didn't take them this long to make a move. That one, and others. But I have taught people. I've taught loads of people how to duel, and again, when they're like making that first move, I've never seen them take so long to make a move. So yeah, using Spore, and what's Spore doing? No, I'm not using Fleet of Summoning Karibo. She's removing Summit. She's summoning that. Right, it's level 4 now. Are you going to Synchro Summon? Are you going to Synchro Summon? You're going to take you 20 minutes to think about it? Eh? Oh. Ridiculous. Tell you what, I'm going to talk about this fan dub. I'm going to talk about the subs and dubs. I was going to save that, but this duel's going to take so long, I might as well bring it up here. So, another topic that I want to talk about is the subs and dubs of anime in general, but the Yu-Gi-Oh ones. Now, what do you guys prefer? Personally, I prefer a sub. I prefer watching it as it was intended. Like, even GX is more watchable when you're hearing the proper dialogue and not necessarily like some stupid jokes that the dickheads at 4Kids are like, oh well, let's make a joke out of it. I think the dubs have aspects that I like the Duel Monsters dub, first series dub. I really like that. They didn't go overboard with the silliness with that, and I really like it. I did. Oh, for God's sake, they gotta make a decision. She's taking 20 minutes to make up a fucking and that's all she did. She set a card. So if I had Red Dragon Archfiend, you let me use some Synchro Monsters, dickheads. This wouldn't be happening. Anyway, personally, I've always preferred the sub. I think it's oh, fat guy liking subs. Before you comments get there, but I've always preferred the proper. I love the Japanese language, and if I had the patience and intelligence, I'd learn it. I really would. I really would go out of my way to actually learn it. But right, I'm getting rid of that trap card because I think that trap card's what she keeps thinking about. So that's going, and this is what I'm gonna do. That. Oh, stop thinking about it. I'm going to take the pressure of thinking about that card away from you, so you will never have to worry about playing it ever again. So I'm going to destroy that. I'm going to destroy that. I thought I could have chained it. Apparently I can't. Never mind. I've gotten rid of that nuisance. So we can get on with our lives again now. Again, I'll just keep chipping away with fucking Spell Striker. Right. I'm gonna get rid of these fucking bumheads. Get rid of Spore. Look, see how quick the duel's going now? Now that I don't even... What was that card? In fact, let me just fucking take this out first. Right, let me just kick the shit out of that. I genuinely want to know what that card was. I didn't see it. I really want to know what the big deal was. Do you have the time to listen to the wine? Right, let me see what this was. Really? Miracle Fertilizer? Was that it? Was that the card that was giving you such... No, it wasn't that. It was... Oh, it was that. It was Plant Food Chain. Ah, that was the card giving us such a big fucking hard time. Ridiculous. But anyway. I've seen all of what... Well, I haven't seen all of GX. I'm going to put my hand up there. I haven't seen all of GX in the dub. I know what happens in all of GX. Because obviously I've seen bits. I've seen what I needed from YouTube. But I've not seen the entirety. And I want to go back and watch the whole thing in sub. I've only really watched it in the dub. But as bad as GX was in dub, it was way better than 5Ds was in the dub. I've got to say, I really hated 5Ds in the dub. I couldn't stand it. I absolutely hated it. Because it was just so awful. I'm going to give you a prime example right now of why the 5Ds dub was fucking piss poor compared to the original and how it should have come across. And here it is, okay. There's an episode where Yusei goes to Crash Town, which is where we are right now. He basically, at the beginning of the episode, in Crash Town, the episode starts, Yusei's just driving through the desert on his D-wheeler in complete silence. This is the original. And we don't know why he's doing it. We don't know what's going on. He's just, he's riding his... Okay, why is he there? What's he doing there, you know? We don't know why he's there. He's just riding. He's completely silent. And we don't actually know why he's driving in the desert until we get to the fucking... Until after the intro. And then he arrives at Crash Town. And then he sort of has a monologue saying, I got this note going to this town. You know, I wonder what the hubbub is. He didn't actually say hubbub, but, you know, he more or less said hubbub. Oh my god, really? I've knocked it out of 50... I've knocked it out of 50 life points! I don't believe that. Jesus. Titty bastard Christ. Anyway. In the dub, that very same scene, he's riding through the desert, and he's going through like an internal monologue, explaining why he's there. I got this note about gotta go to Crash Town, and then he makes some really stupid joke on the way. He's like, I hope I don't get deserted. Something stupid like that. It wasn't that, but knowing 4Kids, it was something really ridiculous like that. But all in all, it's just really fucking bad. And that's my point. They just, in the original, I like that whole it carried to Yusei's more silent, more serious tone. He was like, he's a serious character. He doesn't really joke like that. He's a pretty I say interesting. He's not. He's quite wooden, as Yusei, but I like him, and I just, in the original, we had that, straight away, we, the audience, were asking questions like, whoa, okay, Yusei's in the desert, why is he there? What's he doing there? Why is he riding the desert? He looks pissed. Well, where is he going? And then we find out he gets to Crash Town, and the whole Crash Town sort of mini arc, I guess you want, that all starts, and, we figure that out as it goes along, it tells us as a story, holy shit. But everything sort of in those first few minutes of the dub version, it kind of goes, I got this note saying I should come here. It's like, well, why have you got to tell us now? Why not leave us in that little bit of mystery and wondering what you're doing, rather than fucking add it in when you don't need to? So, and I just think it lets itself down. I keep wobbling too. It just lets itself down when it does that. So, To be honest, if I get another spell card now, I'm just going to reincarnate fucking Spell Striker back. There we go. Right. Fucking... Here we go. I'm not fucking about now. I'm ending the duel now. I'm getting Spell Striker back. Spell Striker. And I'm going to remove a spell and bring him back. And I'm going to fucking attack directly in it. So, yeah, that is essentially all I have to say on both Yu-Gi-Oh! Games and the dub versus sub. I'm going to go back to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Game topic. All in all, I like all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. I like that they've tried to take the game that we love and try and do different things, because there's so many different monsters and characters and creatures that it's nice that they're trying to give all these different creatures a bit of their own, you know, their own essence, you know, their own sort of something more unique than just playing the game. But at the same time, I really want to just play the game sometimes. I want to play the game Yu-Gi-Oh! With a story like this, you know, and it might not be the best story of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, but I enjoy it, you know, and I think a lot of other people do as well. So that's just all I've got to say about the whole malarkey, really. So yeah, that's if. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And again, let me know about what deck I should use for the next episode of this when I decide to do it. They're pretty quick and easy to make, so I might record one tomorrow if I've got time. Oh no, I'm not doing it tomorrow. I'm going to my Yu-Gi-Oh! Club tomorrow. I'm not doing that. I might do one on Wednesday, depending on how time is. Thursday, I'm going to be just solely recording for X-rated stuff, so I'm going to be not doing anything like this on Thursday. So maybe Friday will be the next time I record a game, like record a go for like this. So let me know what you think of. Let me know what you think about fucking about my Yu-Gi-Oh! Game ideas, my fucking third person view sandbox Yu-Gi-Oh! Game, my Google Glass idea, the fucking arcade game which I didn't originally come up with, it was already in the show. And tell me what you think of those ideas, and what gaming ideas do you have? What ideas in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game would you like to see implemented? And what do you think of sub and dub? Sub versus dub. What do you think? Comment below, but be nice. Don't wobble the table like I always do. Be nice. You guys were awfully... I'm quite proud of you guys, actually, because you're awfully... A lot of you were really nice in the last video. Good on you. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think of the topics we've talked about today. If you have something you want me to talk about in the future, I'll move out, you know. Let me know in the comments below. And again, be nice, and I will see you guys when I see you. Catch you later. Bye-bye.